is Mr. Crocket? Well, we're about to find out here. Let's start with the IMDb plot. Maybe this will give us a clue. A mother embarks on a perilous quest to rescue her son from a demonic children's show host who is kidnapping kids. Oh, that's who Mr. Crocket is. He is the demonic children's show host. Interesting. Okay. I guess you can kind of think of it as Mr. Rogers gone nuts, crazy, become a demon. Mr. Rogers. Yeah, it's totally not Mr. Rogers' neighborhood here. Mr. Crockett's neighborhood is not as fun, at least for some. So yeah, this is another movie here. I tried to catch up on some of the ones that I didn't get to review during October. This one came out on Hulu, so it's kind of still fairly new. So I'll try to keep it fairly spoiler free. Don't know huge twists and turns. Besides what eventually happens. But I'll still kind of try to leave some for you guys to kind of catch for those who have not seen it. Really, another one which I didn't hear a whole lot about going into, kind of just scrolling around, seeing, things that I missed. And I don't know. I really don't know why I selected it. Maybe just, kind of seeing, even the poster looks like, okay, didn't really know, how scary it could be. I mean, Mr. Crocket. But I don't know. I hit play and hoped for the best. Kind of interesting, kind of opening scene here. You get a family setting here. The dad, I don't remember if he was the dad or stepdad, kind of is rough on the child in the opening scene. And Mr. Crocket is not too happy about that. He is going to make his way into the dining room area. And, the dad, who seemed very much in control and over the top with the child, is not going to be so tough with Mr. Crocket. And early on, we're going to find out, Mr. Crocket can be a bad person here. He's not Mr. Rogers at all. So that kind of sets a good opening here and so forth to what to kind of expect. Soon enough, we kind of gather, okay, Mr. Crocket, not only is going to deal with the parents, but also take the children into his neighborhood. We'll call it the neighborhood. I mean, I don't think he said it in the thing, but, why not? He's kind of like Mr. Rogers, so we'll say it's Mr. Crockett's neighborhood. So take the children onto his neighborhood, onto his show, or whatever you want to call it, and away from the parents. Sometimes the parents may live, sometimes they're not. It kind of depends. How much they piss off Mr. Crocket. Don't piss off Mr. Crocket. Be nice to your kids. So later we kind of get introduced to another single mother there who's trying to be as patient with her child as well, trying to raise him the right way. Sometimes he does good stuff, and other times he's a kid and kind of testing her patience. It gets to the point where, she is looking for, an outlet, something to kind of keep his mind, in a right place. And he gets introduced to a tape of Mr. Crocket. And, that kind of gets the things started. And then comes a time where she kind of blows up at him and gets mad again. And that's when Mr. Crocket is going to step in and take her son. Fortunately for her, she's going to live and not suffer a death from Mr. Crocket. But it is still pretty traumatizing to her that her son is now missing. And, she then has to try to figure out, what has happened. And, she did stumble upon a mother from earlier in the film who kind of suffered the same fate and has kind of gone crazy from it. But, she's, trying to be strong here, trying to be strong-willed, and is eventually going to figure out that Mr. Crocket has taken her son. Obviously, that's not going to go over well. There's not going to be many people she's going to be able to tell and get help from in order to solve this, so she's going to have to do it on her own. And that's kind of, the basics of what we have here. I'd say that I think, when this started and kind of unveiled, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I think by the time this ended, I think I really enjoyed what they did here. I liked Mr. Crocket at the end of the day. I thought it was kind of fun to see a character be so kind of happy and so forth, and obviously being on a kid's show and kind of trying to play that off, and then when it came time to be evil, be pretty damn evil. Not necessarily a movie with a huge amount of blood and guts that I like to see, but still a high level enough of evilness and, being dark and creepy, and definitely when you knew Mr. Crocket was coming, it definitely, kind of went from that nice, you see him when he's in the show and it's bright and nice and shiny and kind of like you're watching a, kid show, to, making the house very dark and spooky. And then, even, so at times you kind of see him and he's still kind of had that cheery kind of thing, to maybe offset and you drop your guard a little bit and then just kind of snap and be just, plain and creepy and so forth. Obviously he's going to take the children into his hell, his own personal entrapment there. We will find out a little bit more about Mr. Crocket and his situation and why, how he kind of came to be. So we will get all that filled in. I'm not going to go through all that. You guys can catch that if you watch the film, if you haven't seen it yet, and so forth. So they will kind of explain why Mr. Crocket is the way he is, and why he's there now, kind of trying to collect some children for his show, and defending some of these kids and so forth. Obviously, the mom's gonna, also, figure some of this stuff out, and obviously have an ultimate showdown with Mr. Crocket trying to save her son. It's not going to be easy for her. Obviously, once the kids kind of get there, they're really under his spell, and so forth. So it's not like, oh, mom found me, let's go home now. It's going to be a little bit more than that. Again, I just, it almost, I kind of feeling we've kind of seen this before. I always kind of feel like that, whether I've seen a movie or not. I always kind of feel like I should say that we've seen a movie or not. So, that's kind of why I say that. Obviously, I've seen many horror movies, but not all of them. So, just trying to cover the bases there. But, kind of feel like, we've almost done something similar. Again, I don't know. But I don't know. At the end of the day, there was just something about Mr. Crocket. I just liked, the good and bad of it, and, the flipping back and forth. I also liked the ending, the way they ended it. I think, they could have left it in one way, but, they gave you that extra little ending that really, obviously it is a horror movie. It's a horror movie, but, really told you that it's a horror movie and so forth. So I liked that as well. So, while I think at the end of the day, and I don't necessarily know, too much about the guy who played Mr. Crocket here. I don't know. Maybe he was in other stuff. I don't know. But I thought he did a really good job, again, of playing the good, playing the bad, and kind of, doing all that. And again, I've said Mr. Rogers a couple of times, and, I just couldn't help but thinking, what if Mr. Rogers, you know, was really bad, or maybe did this, somewhere in the world. Obviously, not in my world. I don't believe I was ever sucked in by Mr. Rogers into someplace else. Um, but if he was ultimately bad, so maybe that's another reason why I kind of liked it, and just kind of playing off of that. Um, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, I was really happy when this one ended, and really enjoyed it. Even though again it wasn't a lot of blood and guts, but with when he was evil, the stuff he did when he was evil, I really enjoyed it and just liked his character, and that. And again, I like the way they kind of ended it, and good stuff. All the way to the end where it could have left it as a Mr. Rogers kind of ending, but didn't. And so I could appreciate that. So at the end of the day, I think I'm going to give this one 4 pools of blood. I really liked it. Now, being, this doing this review towards the end of the year and so forth, even though I gave it 4 pools of blood, I don't know that I'm going to put this on my top 10 list. Just, when I do that list, I kind of, maybe revise thoughts. And when I think about it with other stuff, maybe it's not going to fit where I want it. But I still really enjoyed it, and really enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and was glad that I gave this one a watch. Really not expecting too much from it. And again, this one came out on Hulu. If you guys, missed it, maybe it'll be in other places if you guys want to watch it later on, and so forth. So, again, 4 pools of blood, and that is out of 5 for this one. So, horrorsgorereviews.blogspot is where you can find all of my reviews written in video. Certainly tons of video reviews for a while now. So you can like and subscribe and do everything else that everybody wants to do here on YouTube. If not, no worries, it is okay. I thank you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook, information down below. Join me there as well. Talk about this movie, other movies, horror in general. And definitely in the comment section, once you guys kind of catch this movie, your thoughts on Mr. Crocket versus Mr. Rogers. Were you ever abducted by Mr. Rogers? Maybe he did some similar stuff to you. I don't know. And I mean that in a horror sense, not in some other sense that, other bad stuff. Please, Mr. Rogers, I hope we don't find out that you ever did anything bad like that. Like we find out so many other people do, but hopefully not. But yeah, with that, I guess I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.